Hi everyone, Helen Blunden here at Activate Learn on Twitter. If you want to check me out there, not check me out, you know what I mean, just kind of follow or what do you do on Twitter? You subscribe? No, you click, you follow them. Anyway, regardless, you don't have to follow me, you don't even have to watch this review, but you might be interested in this book because I was. What is the book about? It is David Nichols, called Us. He's the author of One Day, which I had read some years ago, but Us was published in 2014. It was even long listed for the Man Booker Prize. I went into a new library recently. I decided to walk into the Elsternwick Library and have a bit of a mosey around on the shelves there, and I saw this book and I thought, I'm going to borrow that. But what put me off was this thing. You see, sometimes Man Booker Prizes or any prizes in particular don't really interest me because, well, sometimes just because a book has won a prize does not necessarily mean that it's quite good. But this one I enjoyed. Why? Because it was so pertinent to a lot of the themes that many people my age, my peers, are also going through at this point in time. So I kind of connected with this. You might be thinking, well, okay, what did he do? What's the story? The story is, it's about a couple. It's written from the perspective of the husband. His wife, one day after 25 years of marriage, wakes up, turns to him and says, you know, Douglas, I don't want to be married to you anymore. So that is the start of the story. Page 1, it starts from there. But then it becomes, I guess, Douglas's perspectives on his marriage. Now, this is different to any other story about a couple long time married going through problems with the potential of divorce. This is not set in the home, it's not set in their own country location. Instead, it's from the perspective of the husband who really truly loves his wife so much. He worships the ground she walks on. So it's quite a surprise to him that all of a sudden she doesn't want anything to do with him. And so he goes off on this introspective journey as to what got him to this point. And that is what I love about this book. Now, Connie, we learn more about Connie, his wife, and how they came to be and how they got married and how they had Albie as a kid. And it's just really lovely to see how he recounts a beautiful story of how he met his wife, who is a very creative, free-spirited woman who somehow also gets lost along the way and loses that artistic, very social, extrovert, creative spirit. Meanwhile, Douglas, on the other hand, is a scientist, and he really tries hard to get in and understand how she thinks and understand how her friends think, and you could see him really trying as a scientist to kind of let go and also be a little bit free-spirited himself, and sometimes it kind of falls flat in its face. So I really connected with this character because it feels like he's a bit of a nerd, but he's a lovely nerd, and he's a nerd who loves his wife and who really wants to reconnect also with his son Albie. Now, in one last-ditched effort to try and hold on to the marriage, he proposes to his wife and to Albie to go on this journey, this great journey through Europe, pretty much like what in the 1800s young men used to do to try and kind of find themselves before they would get married. And he sets them off on this grand tour of Europe, and he takes them through to, starts off in London, then goes to Paris, then goes to Amsterdam, Munich, Venice, Florence, Siena, Madrid, Barcelona, and back to London on this train journey. And through the train journey and the places he visits, he goes on this grand tour of the art galleries to see the wonderful portraits and landscapes of the greatest artists, and he's really trying to come to terms and grapple with trying to understand his wife's world, or the way his wife thinks. And in so doing, he's really rediscovering himself. He's reflecting on his own actions. And so what I loved about this book is something that kind of touches on how I felt going through the same thing. You know, he went through trying to discover and find his son. At one point in Paris, his wife goes back home to England because it was just all too hard, and he sets off on a journey by himself to try and find Albie, his son, who legged it with an accordion player, Cat. And so he's desperately trying to find Albie, and in the process he's going to places like Munich and Venice and Florence and Siena, just trying to catch up with Albie and trying to find him. So I love this book simply because it was a story of a man trying to find himself, and in so doing appreciating his life and appreciating his son and appreciating his wife. But he's always appreciated them, but he somehow never really expressed it to them. It's a lovely book, and one that I'm really looking forward to seeing the new TV show that is coming out. It's going to be on Foxtel at the end of this month, and I think it's a BBC show, and I'm really looking forward to this. But I would say this is a highly recommend. It's one of the best books I've read so far in 2021, and it's going to be a highlight, I think. So Us by David Nichols, highly recommend. Have you read this book? Let me know what you think. Okay then, bye for now.